Good evening and welcome. My name is Michelle Dutrissa and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up here in New South Wales, Australia. Please jump on and say hello. Let us know who you are and where you're from. It's always great to have new people jumping on. Just let me grab a sip of water here. And let me just quickly turn off my phone so we don't have anyone disturbing us. Okay, so today I'm going to play with a suite that I played with a couple of weeks ago. And it is the, oops, no, haven't got it yet. Nests of Winter. So this is a suite collection, which has got all of these. They're the sample colours there, and the colours that are in this are real red, copper clay, garden green, coastal cabana, crumb cake, and grey granite. There are also a few extra colours like granny apple green, and I think cherry cobbler is also in it, but you'll find the lists of all of those colours on the back of the designer series paper. So there's a designer series paper down there. Some beautiful designs in that. They're a 12 by 12 inch paper, or 30.5 by 30.5 centimetre. So you could also use them very well for scrapbooking as well. Within the suite, you've also got your wintry treetops stamp set and the coordinating dies. It comes with 3 colour twines in the copper clay, I think that's Night of Navy, and Big Garden Green. You also have one of the larger format embossing folders. That also comes with this one, and it's a good size embossing folder. I've just got it here. I haven't used mine as yet, but it is quite a big one. Our standard embossing folders are around about, just grab, that's a square one. Let me just grab one of these. So there's our regular size, and as you can see, it is actually quite big. So really a good size for a card front. It also comes with some embellishments, which I've used them a few times on different projects. Just got to grab them here. Oh, they're somewhere. Oh, I know. I've popped them there with a, sorry, they're down here. I've been prepping for a class that I'm going to have on Friday, but that's them there. So, and they're also in the garden green. Let me just take them out of the plastic sleeve. Garden green, the copper clay, a crumb cake, and that to me, it's either a white or it could even be the, actually I think it is the basic beige, which is a beautiful colour to work with. So they're the colours in that. Okay. We're going to, I've got a card here that I've started. I've cut it out. I'm a little bit behind in my blogging. I'm terribly sorry. I've had a slightly busier week this week. I'll just pop those away so I can use them. So I haven't been able to get onto that. But I hope that this card tonight, I can get the measurements and everything up on my blog fairly quickly in the next day or so, because I've quietened down a little bit. So tomorrow I should have a chance to actually do some of that. So let me show you what we're going to make. I've already started cutting some things out. So I've already got a little bit on the go. I've got a card base which I'm doing in grey granite. And let me grab that for you. So my card base is 10.5 by 29.9, and I've scored that at 14.9. So I've already taken that, folded that in half. What I do want to do with this while I've got it here in front of me is I'm going to go around and first off do a little bit of stamping on this. So I'm going to put a couple of designer series papers on here, some DSP, and the DSP I've chosen to use is this one here, which is the same one I used last time. I quite like it. And I'm going to add a little trim of the green stripe as well. And what I thought I might do is just stamp some sprigs on here, also in the smoky slate. So let me just grab this little stamp here. It's just a little sprig or little, I don't know, to me it's like almost like a pussy willow type bud. But we're just going to stamp that just on this side here, just randomly in different directions. I just wanted to give this piece of cardstock here a little bit of texture. So I'm just going to pop another one of those there, just making sure that you do get good coverage. I've got a little bit there I've missed, but that's okay. I'm sure by the time we've covered this in these and I've added all the other bits and pieces, it won't be so noticed. Now I've actually kept these all going in a one-way direction. That was unintentional, but of course you can turn that around and have that going in different directions if you want. Hello, Rose. How are you? Thank you very much for joining us today. Now, the other thing I do want to do is I want to add some sponging around my edges of this, and I'm going to do my sponging in a bit of copper clay. So I've just got a small brush here. This is not one of the Stampin' Up brushes. This is one that I picked up quite a long time ago, but it's quite a nice little one for some sponging that I've got happening a little bit later on. And all I want to do is just go around these edges and just very lightly give that a little bit of a sponge, just to sort of add again a bit of texture. This side here is going to get covered up with our DSP, but that's okay. I'm just going to keep going and just add texture all the way around. So I'm just flicking my brush around the edges rather than brushing it on like we'd normally do. But I just wanted to give that a little bit of warmth around those edges. I'm not going to do the inside, just wanted to do there. And I also want to do the same thing around these pieces here. Now this piece here is 14.8. I've just made it a fraction, 1 mil smaller than the depth of my card, and it's 1.5 centimeters width. If you're doing it in inches, you'd be looking at probably about 1/2 inch in width, and you'd be looking at about what, 5.5 would be probably 1/16 smaller than that. So if someone can work that out, but it's be 5.5 and 8/16, so 5.5 and 7/16 would be probably the equivalent in length if you're doing it in inches, using the American letter size cardstock. So I'm just going to go around all these edges. I'm just adding a little bit of sponging to it. It just sort of gives it that little bit of an aged look. And then I've got my other piece of designer series paper, and I'm going to do the same with this. So I just want to go around, just add that little bit of colour just around my edges, just to take off that starkness a little bit. Now this is going to be quite a simple card we're doing tonight. It's a layout I actually saw on another card done by Patty Bennett, and I've just changed some of my elements a bit, and the designer series paper that she used, I'm using something different. So, but I just thought it was just a really great, just a really good basic layout. Very easy one to replicate. Now this piece here again is at 14.8 by 6 centimeters. Okay, so well, I think this is a really good design you could use on any card. So let's adhere this now. I'll pop that to one side because I'll need that again in a minute. And we're just going to add this onto our card. So we're just going to use the multi-purpose glue. So how's your day been, Rose? Had a good one, I hope. So I'm just going to take that and just add that to my card along that left-hand side. And then I'm going to add this one just right next to it. So that's just going to go just there like that. I've had a good day. Well, sort of a good day. I had a busy day. Well, I thought I was going to have a busy day sewing, but that didn't end up being so. A couple of people cancelled their appointments. So, but then a friend came around for afternoon tea. So that was lovely. Had a lovely day. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my card insert. Now I've already gone around that and done some edging around that, and I've already grabbed a piece of card, my DSP, and I've gone around the edges of that as well. Now this piece here is 10 by 14.4, so this piece here is slightly smaller than the one I've got here, and it is 1.5 by 14.4. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue down there and add that on. So what have you been up to today, Rose? Anything exciting? Do any crafting? And we're just going to add that there like that. And then that can go on the inside of our card. So that is all of our card prepped now and ready to decorate. Sorted out a few cards to send out, and yes, the good old housework. That is just never ending. We had a disaster happen here on the weekend. My dishwasher decided to spurt water out everywhere. So it ended up washing my floors in my kitchen for me. My husband ended up mopping all that up. And so that took one lot of housework away, but it's never ending. I've always got a bit of vacuuming and everything to do, which I did this morning. Opened a few windows and let some fresh air in since it was such a beautiful day here in the Southern Highlands. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is I found this circle. Now I've just got a stash of bits and pieces here that I've cut over a period of time just to make life a little bit easier. I've taken some of the dies that we've got and cut them out of scraps of basic white. So I've always got those on hand. But I had one of these. Now this die is from, if I can find it here on my desk, I probably actually popped it down here ready for my class on Friday. Everyday Details. I think this one is from, no, it's not from the Everyday Details, sorry. It's from one that I Spotlight on Nature. So this is one of the dies from Spotlight on Nature, which is the that larger circle there. Okay, so I found that floating around my desk and I thought, I'm going to use that tonight. Hello, Nicole, how are you? You're supposed to be close. You're supposed to close the dishwasher before turning it on. Ha, 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 you're funny. Well, it so happened that we're not quite sure. We've got a plumber coming tomorrow to fix it, but we think the water hose inside of it has either blown or the pump's blown. And I just had water pouring. I mean, literally pouring. There was at one stage, I think I had an inch height of water at one corner of my kitchen. And the dishwashing, it wasn't the tab. We actually were doing running the washer without any dishes in it. But we had put a cleaner in there to clean all the pipes and everything to the dishwasher. And when it spilled out, all that chemical and everything came out with it. My husband was up the street, so he wasn't there to help me, so I couldn't get to where the tap was to switch it off, so it just kept pouring out. So I just threw towels on it, had towels everywhere. Yeah. And then so he had to come home, had to ring him, and he had to race home without our dinner and start mopping the floor. But one thing I noticed the next day is the grout was beautiful and clean. So who knew that the dishwasher cleaner not only cleans your dishwasher and all the pipes and everything in there, but it cleans the grout in your floor. So probably not a recommended way of cleaning your kitchen, but it's got a beautiful clean floor. And I've been trying to scrub that grout for years, but haven't been quite able to get it nice and clean. But it is now. Okay, so what we're going to do is with this circle here, that's going to go on my card probably around about there. I may put that up on dimensionals as yet. And then I have got a little bird here that I had pre-cut from the last time I did one of these. So I thought, well, we can use him because he's in the same sort of colours as the rest of the birds rather than adding the blue ones on there. I thought I'd keep it in the same colour tones. And I have got the twine here in the copper clay, which I thought we could pop underneath. But I'm sort of been wondering whether to put any colour on this on the circle here. I don't think so. I think at the moment I've got enough colour, enough of the copper clay around it. But what I have been doing is I've cut out, as you can see here, all of these little bits of fern or pine cone leaves, whatever it could be, from the dies in this suite. And what I have done, I've already done some, and we've got to do some more. So I'm just going to add a little bit of copper clay. Now, I may have enough ink on this, on the edges of these leaves, just to give it a little bit I won't do it on the lighter ones. I want to do it on the garden green ones, just so then they've got a little bit of colour and not just solid garden green. I wanted them to sort of bring out a little bit of that coppery brown colour in them. Hello, Joan. How are you? Yeah, it's an interesting paper because it's not really an Australian theme. And being sort of, I mean, I know they've called it winter and you wouldn't have to call it winter, but it's sort of got a real winter and autumn feeling to it. So I was a bit the same about this paper, Nicole. Sort of really sort of ummed and ahed about it, but I sort of thought, well, I'll get it and try it and then see what I think, because I do love the birds. Probably don't need all of these, but anyway, we'll keep going. We might leave it at that. I think I've got plenty because I've already done a few. So they're the ones in the copper clay, but then what I want to do is a few. This colour here is Granny Apple Green, and I wanted to add a little bit of the garden green to them, just to, again, just to take a little bit of that, just that stark colour off them, give them a little bit of a highlight. So I'm just going to add some of this around some of those edges as well. Oops. Yeah, I love adding a bit of colour to die cuts, especially you can. I like doing it both ways. I love colouring my paper and then cutting it out, especially if I'm using multiple colours. But I do love to add that little bit of texture by adding two-tone, like a different colour into it. I think sometimes, you know, it gives a little bit more of a realness to it. I mean, because if you go out into nature, out into your garden or into the bush, you know, leaves and flowers aren't just a flat colour. You know, there are some leaves that have got a little bit of that red in it or the copper clay type colouring in it. And, you know, some leaves have got a little bit of different greens in it. You know, they have a little bit of brown fleck through them, so it's nice to put a bit of texture into it. Oh, yum, Chinese. That sounds nice. We just had fish tonight. Home-cooked fish. Tuesday nights is always a quick meal for me because I've got to come and get in here and so I can talk to you lovely ladies. Okay, so that's all of that done. Now I do want to add a sentiment to my circle, and I thought I would do the sentiment in the copper clay. So let me just pop all these to one side. I'll move these brushes out of the road. And let's grab our little circle there. I've got this little bird here too, and I want to put him inside the card just to finish that part off. And I need a block. And the sentiment I thought I'd use is sending thanks and much love. So I didn't know whether I should add a Christmas sentiment or that one. Well, what do you think? I mean, this is the other stamp set I brought out, which is Peaceful Seasons, which has got more of a Christmassy, well, they're all Christmas sentiments, whereas this one here is not so much Christmas. What do you think? Do we think we should put a Christmas one on this? Because I was sort of thinking the other one I could use is Friends and Family are True Gift of Christmas. So let me just have a look, see how big that one is, because it's got to be able to fit inside this circle with the other things that I was planning. Which is that. So that could go there. Or that one would go up the top. So that's the sentiment that actually goes with it. Yeah, it is a nice combo of fonts. I think I'll keep going with my original plan and do just the sending thanks. I give a lot of my cards away to my customers that come to get sewing done. So maybe someone will get this and be really pleased for it. So let's just pop that just about there. Okay, so that's that done. So this is where my ideas are coming from. So I thought that I could pop that on there. Let's just bring the card back in. What I want to do now is decorate this piece here. And I just thought it's just a little bit too flat. So I've got my twine here. And I want to put a little bit of this behind him. But I thought what I could do is just wrap that around my fingers. That's probably around about 8 centimeters in width. And I want to pop that onto there. So let's just grab some seal. I don't want to put a knot or anything in this because I don't want to make it too bulky. And let's just pop that on there like that. So that's going to go just like that. I think I'm going to pop this up now on some dimensionals. So make sure that's all stuck down because it's sort of moving about a bit. Let's just pop using up all these little end bits, and I'll pop one in the middle. So has everybody had nice weather where they are? It's a beautiful day here. Okay, and I'm going to pop that there. I don't want it right in the center of my card going widthwise, but around about the center lengthwise, and I think I've got that all nice and straight. And then I want to pop this up on dimensionals as well. So let me just grab some more here. That part can go in the bin. And pop a couple of dimensionals on the back. And we want that to go over the center. So probably sitting just about there. Now I'm only using 2 dimensionals, and I've got one there quite close to the edge, a lot closer than what I normally go, but that's okay. I think he'll be still quite right. So that's going to sit there like that. Thank you, Joan. And then all these little bits and pieces that we've coloured, we can tuck in and around. So I'm just going to spread those out a bit. Because I think just having these all tucked in and around in the different colours will just tie it all together. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the bottom there. I just want to add, probably got more of these than I really need, but that's okay. We'll just keep them for another project. I'm going to pop one there. Didn't want to cover up that little bird peeping out from underneath there. So we'll just pop this one here. Under there, we'll just pull that apart so then that little bird looks like he's peeping out. So I've got those two little birds peeping out. We've got another little one just tucked underneath here. Now maybe just one extra cluster, and I'm just thinking they might just go, this time I think I'll pop the darker green on first, just so then got one that's slightly, I'm going to pop that underneath. Whoops, I've got to pop that one there. Now I might just cut that little bit off because I've got a dimensional right underneath there, and I want that one to be just making a little bit of a glue puddle here. Okay, put that dimensional a little bit too close. So I'm just going to tuck that there. So I might actually tuck it underneath all of that twine because then you won't notice it. There we go. So not quite as, we probably could put a third one in there if we wanted to. Let's just have a look and see. Yeah, that might just fill that up a little bit more there. There might be just enough glue in there to hold that in place. Just pop a little bit underneath. Oops. Oh, that was a little bit too much glue, but that's okay. That'll stick. Okay, since I've got 3 there, let's pop three down in some of these other clusters. I want to cover up that bird, so let's tuck that one under a little bit further. And then this one here. Might just bring that around like that. That's looking pretty good, I think. Sunny but cool. And the washing dried. That's fantastic, Rose. It's always good when you can put your washing out in your line. I haven't put washing on the line for ages. We use a dryer just for the fact that it's so cold here. Sometimes things just don't get dry. But it's also a little bit difficult for me to get out to the line. Okay, so That's all looking pretty good. I'm liking that. It's covering up my sentiment a little bit, but I think that's okay. It's not covering it up too much. So let's have a look on the inside, because we've got this little fella here. I do have some more of these in the dark. I had popped away. So we could pop him on there. Now I'm just going to grab another dimensional. And I'm just going to pop one right underneath him. And we're going to pop that just there. Again, just popping a couple of these in and around. Don't need to do as many as what I did on the other one, on the front of the card. So I've put the dark green down first, the garden green and the granny apple green on top. This time for the second one, I'm going to put the granny apple green on the bottom. Just push that right in underneath there, and then the garden green can go on top. Just so then it's got a little bit of difference. Oops, just hold that down. Pushing that in just that little bit further. So there's the inside of my card completed. You have to use the dryer a little bit more than you used to. The washing line is at the east end of the house and doesn't get much sun. Yeah, I've got a clothesline that's attached to the fence, and it's only fairly small, which was hard when my boys were little, because we're in a rental, so I've got no choice. I've got what I've got. But it's right on the fence line, and it's not in a good spot for getting washing dry. It's really frustrating at times, actually, because, if it's a nice sunny day, you're fine. But if you've got, like winter here, it's just hard because it's in the shade all the time because it's on the fence line. I love the old Hills hoists, which is what I used to have when I lived at Mittagong. It was always good. It was huge and it was in a good area, good spot, accessible. And everything got dry. Okay, let me just grab my take a pic tool and let's add a few embellishments to this. Thank you, Nicole. So I don't think I'm going to use any more green. I might use this one here. Let me just have a look. No, I think actually I'm going to go for this color. So this is sort of like a, it's a sort of a, I'm trying to think of the name of the color. I keep thinking Sahara sand, but it's not Sahara sand, crumb cake. So it's a little bit more of a crumb cake color. So I want to pop, I don't want to pop it directly on that bird but I'm going to pop it just above him. One there, and so that's a large one I've popped there. I'm going to pop another one probably about there. I want to keep them fairly close to my cluster. And the other one, I think, about there. So I just want to have 3 on there. 3 is a very good number for adding clusters, or so I've got, sort of 3 leaves in 3 clusters. Any odd number, it works really well. It's more pleasing to the eye. So there you go. There's our card for tonight. So quite a simple card. I really love this layout. I don't usually do lots of layouts like this, so this was just a real fun one that I found, and I thought, oh, I like that. Just makes it a very simple and quick card to make. You've only really got a couple of layers, one being your die cut circle and the other one being your bird, and then you're just filling up different areas. But I reckon you can do, I'll show you the other card. This is the card we're going to be making in my class on Friday. So same design. This is more like Patty Bennett's, but she had used, mine's all monochromatic, but she had used different colours. So, but they're both pretty much exactly the same layout, just using different papers, slightly different elements. I've got my circles in slightly different places, different stamps and images, but it's a really nice, I think, just a good general card base to start from. And then, you wouldn't even have to do your die cut circle. You could do a rectangle, like you could do a square, or I don't think I've got any, but you could base it on something like that if you wanted to. You could use tags. You could use any other sort of element that you wanted. The other one that I'm using in my class tomorrow is is this shape one. So even that would look quite good on there with Christmas, trees or whatever on there. So I think it's a good card, good base for a card layout. So thank you for joining me tonight. I hope you've enjoyed that. As I said, I will try my best to get this up on my blog hopefully tomorrow. I'm sorry for the last 2 odd lives. I haven't managed to get them up on my blog, but I've just been quite busy with people wanting some alterations done before they go overseas. So it's sort of left me doing a bit, but tomorrow is a free day. And hopefully the gentleman can come and repair my dishwasher, and I can get that running again. But anyway, thank you. I hope you have a beautiful day tomorrow. If you create a card similar to this, please jump on to or put attach my name to it somehow, so then I can see what you've created, because I really love to see if you're making anything similar, using some of these ideas. It just really encourages me to keep going and keep doing this for you. So thank you very much. I appreciate the time you shared. That's lovely, Nicole. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. That's very nice of you to say. So take care. Have a lovely, lovely day, and we'll see you on Friday. Bye for now.